Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl. I'm just doing a couple of surprise videos, something that I've been thinking about doing. I want to do it today on Thursday instead of Friday because I want to hop into a new walkthrough for my Nintendo Switch. But this is something that I've been really curious about since I finished my walkthrough of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which you can see the final uh two videos I just posted on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/talkativecarl. Um, if you love Pokemon, I have a lot of Pokemon videos up on the channel, so check those out. But I am very curious about this because I did like a video I think like at least a couple of months ago where I had Lucifer from the Lucifer Netflix show versus Lucifer from the Supernatural TV show. It's been like a debate on like a lot on Twitter that when I posted this, because I was curious about those two guys. If there was like a realistic fight between these two, who will win like a bout to the death between the two? And like an overwhelming amount of people went on Mark Pellegrino, Lucifer from the Supernatural show, over Tom Ellis's Lucifer Netflix show. Me personally, I would have gone with, I mean, like death battle type of scientific research, deep dive research. I would have think like Lucifer, Tom Ellis Lucifer would have won because technically he is, if you putting everything together, the historical stuff and abilities and everything like that, Tom Ellis's Lucifer probably would have won because he is like DC's, technically he would be DC's Lucifer. But if some people want to take that part out, which I don't think is, would be fair, because I want to make sure we get all the historical facts about it because it's canon. If you saw it, if you watched the CW DC Crisis event a year or so back, he did cross over with the DC show, so that confirms that he is DC's Lucifer. So if you put that in, he will win because, like, the comics and everything like that, he would have all the same stuff. But this one, I want to make a versus a discussion between two different animes, and I thought this might be an interesting discussion here. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. What if there was a matchup between the Pokemon Legendary Birds versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian God cards? What if these different trios had like a head-to-head fight? Now I want to check out like both of their stats. And I know, like, their cards, but they're, and if you watch the anime, they were like legit creatures. So if you put them in like legit creature scenario and they run into each other, who will win? Now I'm excluding the fact that these are base form Kanto region legendary birds without the Galar forms, because those are, them, when they migrate, and they're not like mega evolutions. So if they were mega evolutions or their natural evolutions, I would have included them, but they're not. They're just different regions and migration, pattern kind of thing. So I don't think they count. They'll still be necessarily the same thing, not like an upgraded form. And for the Egyptian God cards, I'm excluding their fusion technical fusion, you know, Hokatech. I think that's the because if you watch the final Duel Monsters season, the Egyptian god cards can be technically tributed or combined to make this god of light. But I'm excluding that because they will account for like uh, uh you know, outside influence, or like from Matem. Just like I'm excluding outside influence from anybody who might catch the legendary birds. The legendary birds and their attack abilities will be all natural, like wherever they will have learned without outside player influence. So anything they will learn by themselves. And I will bring up all their abilities, the little bit of a back stories from them, and see, you know, from by the end of the video, who at least I would believe from the information at hand who might win. This is not like any like you know fan voting, like, you know, like, or who you liked most, so you know, kind of thing. No, this is like what information we have, and you know, compare and contrast who would actually might, you know, win in that kind of scenario. So we'll start off with the legendary birds. Now the legendary birds are a trio consisting of Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. They are a group of legendary birds that appear only in the Kanto region. So in the second Pokemon movie, Pokemon 2000, The Power of One, that if the three began to fight each other, you know, the other Pokemon Lugia, the trio's master, would rise up to stop them. But these are Pokemon that will be working together in this kind of mock fight. Now Articuno, the Articuno's description, like he or she is an ice and flying type, has a natural ability of pressure. Articuno is the ice and flying type member of the trio. When Articuno flaps its wings, it can chill the moisture in the air around it, making it snowfall. It flies from icy mountains to icy mountain. According to legend, it appears before doomed travelers lost in icy regions. As seen in the anime, Articuno sometimes aids travelers and guides them to safety. Articuno lives in cold, isolated locations such as mountain peaks. Okay. It has a power of snow cloak. Okay. Yeah, when it flaps its wings, you know, the air around it turns very chilly. Okay. It's natural moves that it will learn by himself, without outside influence: Gust, Powder Snow, Mist, Icy Shard, Mind Reader, Ancient Power, Agility, Freeze Dry, Reflect, Hail, Tailwind, Ice Beam, Blizzard, Roost, Hurricane, and Sheer Cold. Just making sure, like, don't forget anything. I have these little wikis pulled up right now. I'm just skimming through any like critical information here. Uh, the origin of Articuno is based on the Simurgh, Simurgh, deriving from the Persian rock, Rokh, which is a giant Arctic bird. Its long tail and small body also may be a reference to the Quetzal. In addition, it is anatomically similar to the white-throat magpie jay. Articuno's name is a cross of words between Arctic and uno, Spanish word for one. The second part of his name indicates that the first in the series of Kento legendary birds. And his Japanese name is simply Freezer. Okay. So this is pretty much like a, wheels. If you might hear, like, I got the window slightly open because I want to, let some air circulate. It was kind of hot today. So please don't mind that. So yeah, this Pokemon pretty much just like the, just the king class. Well, it doesn't have like a gender, but it's the, let's say, just the king of just sheer cold. Just like it rules cold, just by its natural ability. Now Zapdos, electric and flying type. Same ability, pressure. Zapdos is the electric flying type member of the trio. When Zapdos flaps his glittering wings, it releases electricity that can potentially cause thunderstorms. It produces massive crackling and snapping sounds when it flies. These are attributed to the lightning bolts it sheds when airborne. When stricken by lightning, it gains power. Zapdos reportedly appears only during thunderstorms and is said to live among thunderclouds. So yeah, a lot of these birds pretty much like just wield the weather. It's kind of like if you split off Storm from the X-Men's abilities between 3 creatures, and they just wield it just on a whim. Sometimes not even either by their own will or just naturally being around the area. Because like if Articuno is just around, it just drops the temperature to like, insane negative degrees. Mm. All right, when Zapdos flaps his glittering wings, it releases electricity, potentially cause thunderstorms. Yeah. Yeah, it's rarely seen. With the whole Canatonian information I just read, is also known as to be rarely seen. This Pokemon can control storms and lightning at its own will, which can subsequently change the weather drastically. This causes people to worship it like a god of thunder, like their Thor, pretty much. Okay, now the moves that it can learn by themselves, or by itself, it's Peck, Thundershock, Thunder Wave, Detect, Pluck, Ancient Power, Charge, Agility, Discharge, Rain Dance, Light Screen, Drill Peck, Thunder, Roost, Magnetic Flux, and Zap Cannon. Oh god, I feel like I gotta sneeze, but it's stuck there. Zapdos appears to have 2 sets of wings, stating that it has like a black part and a yellow part. This is kind of clear. Always was wondering that. Its origin, Zapdos may be based on the Native American or South African legend of the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird was known for being the spirit of thunder, lightning, and rain in the form of a giant bird. The beating of the wings was said to create thunder and was usually depicted in a pose similar to Zapdos' pose in many artworks. It may also have been based on the lightning bird, a bird created from wherever lightning hits the earth. Aesthetically, it may also be based on hummingbirds due to the long beak, the rather simple wings, and describe violent behavior. It may also be based on Zeus/Jupiter, the Greek Roman god of lightning, who was symbolized by an eagle. Is the etymology, it is likely that the last part of each bird's name are puns based on the last syllable of each of the legendary birds is a number in Spanish. Zapdos, the second part of the syllable, mean 2. Okay, so next, the final bird, Moltres, the fire flying type Pokemon, same ability, pressure. Moltres is a fire and flying type member of the trio. Moltres sheds embers with every flap of its wings, creating a brilliant flash of flames. By dipping itself into the magma of an active volcano, this Pokemon can heal itself. It migrates to the south with the coming of spring and is said to bring an early springtime to cold lands. Moltres is rarely seen by trainers. Okay. It can control fire at its own will. It's like Articuno control cold at its own will, and electricity for Zapdos at its own will. The moves that this Pokemon can learn by itself is Wing Attack, Ember, Fire Spin, Agility, Endure, Ancient Power, Flamethrower, Safeguard, Air Slash, Sunny Day, Heat Wave, Solar Beam, Sky Attack, Roost, Hurricane, and Burn Up. Okay. Alright, the origin of Moltres. Moltres may be based on the legends of firebirds such as the Phoenix, the Slavic firebird, or the Bennu. It may be also based on the Japanese mythical bird known as Zoaku, guardian of the south, which is not a true phoenix, but is usually ascribed an affinity with fire, which is represented by Moltres magneta covered flames running from the head down through the tail and the flaming wings. The etymology, it is uninformed that this is purposely made by the last syllable of each of the legendary birds. Tres meaning 3. Because of the pun, Moltres would be the 3rd legendary bird. Also, Moltres' name could be hinting at the other 2 main fire type legendaries in the Pokemon games, like Ho-Oh and Reshiram. Because its name is Moltres, yeah, Spanish for 3, Mol is being the first syllable of molten. Moltres could have been foreshadowing the appearance of Ho-Oh in Generation 2 and Reshiram in Generation 5. So there is Moltres. And like I said, we're excluding the Galarian forms. These are base form birds that we're dealing with here in this scenario. Now on to the Egyptian god cards. All right. The Egyptian cards are one of a kind, all-powerful cards created by Maximilian Pegasus, modeled them after 3 ancient Egypt divine beasts whose likeness surround the Millennium Puzzle on the stone tablet said to hold the memories of the nameless pharaoh. When Pegasus decided to make them into cards, everyone involved in the project was attacked by the spirits of the Egyptian god monsters, so Pegasus decided to create the cards on his own, under the protection of his Millennium Eye. When Pegasus finished the artwork on the prototypes, he had a nightmare about the Egyptian gods attacking him. Shadi told Pegasus that the that he had angered the Egyptian gods. Pegasus woke up injured after this nightmare, so he decided that these cars were too powerful to be mass produced and had Isizu Istar bury the prototypes in the pharaoh's tomb. The wielder of these great cars is able to acquire the title of Duel King, but in the wrong hands, they are capable of causing legitimate injury or even death. Using counterfeits of the god cards also proved to be deadly, as Merrick Ishtar found out when his rare hunters were testing counterfeit copies of the winged dragon of Ra. Some ended up being crippled, some lost their minds, and some even died the moment the card was played. Merrick came to the conclusion that the gods respond to the strength of heart of the duelist, of which none of the members of the experimental group had, and to this end, he gave Odeon a copy of Ra, reasoning that he would be able to control it due to his past as a servant of the Tomb Keepers. Unfortunately, that proves to be incorrect, resulting in both duelists being struck down. Merrick was able to acquire the winged dragon of Ra and Slifer the Sky Dragon, but Isizu was able to protect Obelisk the Tormentor. He gave the card to Seto Kaiba, requested that he host a dueling tournament to lure Merrick and his rare hunters to the city, bringing the other god cards with them. Kaiba intends on claiming the cards for himself to secure his title as the strongest duelist, agreed, and hosted Battle City tournament. Moving along to avoid certain spoilers. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie Premier Light, the three gods combined to form a monster with infinite strength. This allowed Yugi to destroy Anubis. Spoiler alert. Athenian, the Great Sphinx, with the ultimate attack, Titan Firestorm, and win the duel. Which basically, the winged dragon Ra turns to its phoenix form on Obelisk's left hand, and Slifer wrapped around his right hand, so that way they can perform a combined Titan Firestorm punch to win that particular duel, which means they can easily do that again on their own. Okay, now their natural abilities, we'll go over that really quick. All three Egyptian god cards share similar effects, though exact specifications differ slightly between the anime and the manga. But I also will go over their individual special abilities too. Now, what they share: only the chosen duelist linked to the ancient past may control a god card, though Obelisk the Tormentor was successfully used by a duelist using the seal of Orichalcos, albeit not without discomfort. Each card requires a tribute of 3 monsters in order to normal summon from the hand to the field. That battle position can be changed on the turn they were normal summoned. If they are special summoned from the graveyard or banished area, they are returned to the graveyard or banished area at the end of the turn. If they are special summoned in defense position, when your opponent has attacked with a monster, you may switch the attack target to them. They cannot be tributed by your opponent. Control of the cards cannot be changed. The opponent cannot equip cards to the god cards. They cannot be returned to the controller's hand. They cannot be destroyed by card effects of non-god cards. However, it seems they can be removed from play, as Yugi removed from play the Winged Dragon of Ra with Ragnarok. Spoiler alert. Card effects that negate their effects last for as long as the card is face up on the field. All other card effects used on them only affect them for the remainder of the turn they were activated. Okay. Their individual abilities. Here we go. Obelisk's known special ability is: during either player's turn while in attack position, the player can tribute 2 other monsters they control to activate one of these effects. Increases the attack to infinite, as well as attack any number of monsters the player chooses, regardless of whose turn it is. After it has attacked, the attack of Obelisk returns to its original value. Anime and other media had another option, which was destroying the opponent's monster, allowing Obelisk to attack directly instead of gaining attack. This was apparently the explanation used when Kaiba activated the effect against Yamayugi. This ability was also used in the manga continually when Kaiba summoned Obelisk during the duel against Agami. But in the real world, you can sacrifice other monsters on your side of the field to increase Obelisk's attack power, but by the not by infinite, just wherever the combined attack of those sacrificed monsters would be, it is added to Obelisk's attack and defense. Slifer's special ability, its attack and defense is equals to the number of cards held by the duelist times 1000. Also, when an opponent summons a monster, it attacks the monster immediately, reducing the monster's attack and defense by 2000, depending on if it's in attack or defense position. If the monster's attack and defense position is reduced to 0, as a result, it is destroyed. Now, this is in regards of Slifer's second mouth, because it has a mouth on top right here near his nose, and it has the main jaw below it, where it does the normal attacks as you call out. But the second mouth on top of it just does it automatically. So I imagine in a fight scenario, if Moltres or Zapdos or Articuno somehow appear in front of Slifer, it just uses second mouth maybe automatically just to reduce. Now they don't have, like, the legendary birds don't have a attack and defense as in a normal sense like in Yu-Gi-Oh, but maybe the second mouth lowers its strength of their attack ability, or at least the way it can normally do damage to other creatures will be lowered, making wherever their moves will be on the Egyptian gods less than it would be normally. Now Ra has probably like the more creative, or at least I don't want to say better, but it's just like has more variety when it comes to its ability. Ra's known special abilities, the attack and defense are equal to the combined respective attack and defense of all monsters attributed to special summoning. When special summoned, this card is immune to any card effects and conditions that would prevent it from attacking. When special summoned, the duelist option other than Egyptian God Phoenix mode is that the duelist can pay all but one of their life points to increase the attack and defense of Ra by the same amount of life points paid. The duelist can then choose to attribute any other monsters they control to add their attack and defense to Ra's attack and defense. Also, it can attack all monsters the opponent controls, as well as attack directly afterwards. Under these circumstances, Ra is treated as a fusion monster, and if targeted by defusion, as attack drops to 0, the duelist's life points increase by the amount to what Ra's attack had been. Then if Ra's attack is negated. The duelist can special summon Ra as an Egyptian God Phoenix, where its attack cannot be negated. It cannot be destroyed by battle. You take 0 battle damage from battles involving it, and it's immune to all card effects. When Egyptian God Phoenix abilities with a monster, the duelist can pay 1000 life points to destroy that monster at the start of the damage step. The naming of these gods comes from different sources. Slifer the Sky Dragon, the original name is derived from the Egyptian god Osiris, the god of life, death, and fertility. The English name is an inside joke derived from the name of Roger Slifer, a producer of the English language adaptation to the animation. language adaptation to the anime. Obelisk the Tormentor derived from the term obelisk, a type of monument. The winged dragon of Ra derived from the Egyptian god of Ra, the god of the sun. In the Filipino anime, Ra's name is changed to Apollo, the Greek equivalent to Ra. In English manga, they're all often simply referred to as God, though the original names are still used. The names of the Egyptian gods are the basis for the names of dormitories for the Dual Academy, Cypher Red, Ra Yellow, Obelisk Blue. Okay, now of course they have their weaknesses. Once again, we're not combining them to make a whole holakate at all. They're just their three separate forms. They do have their weaknesses though. Even though the Egyptian gods are powerful, they can be stopped by many cards. Non-targeting effects like hammer shots can easily destroy obelisks. The only one who is immune to targeting card effects. Cards such as Master Restrict or Jama Trio can make it impossible to summon them, with the former preventing tributes and the latter may limit the amount of tributable monsters to 2. You can use Honest, so your attacking monster has a significant attack to destroy them. To deal with Slifer, use cards that force your opponent to discard cards from their hand. Last but not least, cards that negate their effects, like Destiny Hero Plasma, can be devastating, although Obelisk retains its 4,000 attack, as would Ra, that has been spell summoned by the effect of its sphere mode. So, those are their like separate abilities. So these two, I mean these 3 or 6, how would this fight play out? I don't know, man. I mean, if we go on the natural abilities, because like, of course, these legendary birds, I mean, they both are ancient in their own ways, because the Egyptian god cards only go as far back as ancient Egypt, but these legendary birds have like these separate like Native American, then you got like Greek, and what was Articuno? And go back here. Persia. So Greek, Persia, and Native American. But I think Greece came before Egypt. I can't recall if it was like the other way around. But I mean, I'm pretty sure there's people, you know, who leave in the comments below who might have a legit explanation to that. But I don't know. I would like to say, personally, given what information here, I think the Egyptian gods are slightly more powerful just on Ra alone. Because if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, just Ra by himself can be, you know, because according to like in the Yu-Gi-Oh manga and the anime, Ra is typically depicted to be one of the most powerful out of the 3. But each one by themselves, just to summon them, cause like you have to be like, you know, like in that like if you're not of the one of the ancient ones depicted who can actually wield these creatures, like, you know, when it comes to summoning them, yes, 1 second here. trying to get the right wording here. All right, 1 second. Well, I lost the area when it's mentioned, but like the inner circle of like the because if you're not like, you know, directly connected to like, you know, the pharaohs inner circle, like Yugi or Kaiba, or even like, you know, the ancient tomb keepers, like the actual people who are in charge of the stuff, like Merrick, who has like a descendant from like has like a, you know, descended directly from like the inner circle of the pharaohs, kind of like the presidential cabinet in a way, if that makes any sense. uh if you're not part of that direct bloodline of that inner circle, you cannot wield these god cards at all. They will either cripple you. If as soon as you summon them, you either get crippled, you'll lose your mind, or you die. One of those three. uh but these legendary birds are hard to find. They're very rare, and it's very hard to catch them. uh uh but if somebody somehow, because I remember in Pokemon Frontier, uh one person managed to I don't think he actually technically caught Articuno, but he managed to tame Articuno. And he's just an ordinary dude. At least not ordinary dude. He's one like the Pokemon Frontier's gym leaders, or they don't call them gym leaders. They call them something else. I can't recall. But whenever I do like a Pokemon uh, seasonal review, it'll come to me then. But Articuno, I can look at it right now. I got the wiki right here. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, yeah, it was I guess his name was Nolan. That's in Diamond and Pearl. So at least a couple of people managed to use Articuno, but I don't think anybody else managed to uh wield Articuno in that same way. Yeah, Battle Factory, that was it. They found when like Ash and his friends during the Battle Factory, uh I think this was during like the Ruby and Sapphire series. uh uh the heroes went to the Battle Factory, found Articuno, followed by an airplane. Moments later, they discovered Articuno as the Battle Factory for Nolan was taking care of it. When Team Rocket attempted to steal Ash's Pokemon, Articuno was used to defeat Team Rocket. It bashed their balloon away and used Ice Beam to blast them off. Ash was pleased by his power and chose Articuno to battle against in the Battle Factory, so he So he Liza in the or Liza in the Charific Valley and asked her to send over Charizard just for the battle. The next day, Charizard faced Articuno, and this is gonna be spoilers, by the way, so cover your ears for the next minute and a half. As the rooftop was open to give the two Pokemon an aerial battle, the Team Rocket attempted to steal Articuno. However, the latter used Ice Beam to freeze them, while Charizard melted the ice with a flamethrower before Pikachu Thunderbolt blasted them off. As the battle started, Charizard used Flamethrower, dodging Articuno's Ice Beam and hitting it. Articuno evaded. Well, I don't want to spoil anything here, but let's go through this. Yeah, so somebody did manage to wield Articuno, at least tame the legendary bird, but they never actually caught it. So unlike the adjacent God cards, who require a specific lineage to wield, anybody, it's possible that anybody can at the very least tame the legendary birds. So but if there's just wild and these creatures are just roaming, I think the adjacent gods, their massive power on their own, just like, because the legendary birds, they have their own abilities, but these are like natural abilities, like, you know, using like ice type moves, or at least because they, you know, when summoned, the legendary birds just will, like, you know, alter the weather a bit, and using like natural you know, man-made things, like, well, not man-made, but natural nature of things, fire, ice, and lightning. Now, on normal circumstances, those would probably be enough, because these three birds can cause devastating effects to the earth. But the Egyptian gods, they're gods for a reason. It's like in their name. And you know, there's a difference between like legendary creatures and gods, and that's what they're based off. They're based off of legit gods of Egyptian lore. So that's why I believe like the Egyptian gods would beat the legendary birds in like a 3-on-3 fight, because wielding the weather is one thing, but like that's nothing compared to like being summoned and like devastating, because these three can almost destroy the planet with their awesome power and everything on it. The legendary birds haven't wielded, like, they got crazy power, but they're still creatures at the end of the day, and they might cause like weather effects that can be devastating in like on regular terms, but if you're outside their general area, in like that little whatever ratio of area they're in, you can avoid them, and they, for by and large, try to avoid people for the most part, because they just, you know, trying to, you know, remain in solitude, and only rarely interact with people. Like Articuno usually like helps out people every once in a while if they're like it says in the description, like if they're lost at sea in like the icy regions, secluded regions, Articuno will guide them towards safety, but they rarely interact. But you know, when Articuno was like, you know, helping out Nolan in the battle factory, its presence didn't cause like, you know, devastating the landscape. I mean, it probably wanted to, but you're talking about like just a drop in cold weather, like, you know, like a snowstorm, if it, you know, so choose to do so, but in like a particular area, it didn't did on a global level. They don't have that kind of capability. So, but the Egyptian god cards threaten to destroy the entire world. That's what is stated in like the anime multiple times, and in the manga, I believe, like many times. So I believe with like the information at hand, the Egyptian god cards would definitely beat the legendary birds. So that's just my, you know, my belief. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below. Follow the links in the description if you want to follow me along. If you have if you have any like opinions about this, well, please let me know what you think about the Pokemon legendary birds, what you think about the Egyptian god cards as a whole. But yeah, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. To Talkative Carl on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Patreon. And I will see you guys soon on maybe like another versus discussion in the future. Every once in a while, I want to pull something like this up and have a discussion about this. I have an idea for another one, but maybe next month I'll pull it up. But yeah, I will see you guys soon.